Hi folks, welcome back to ABC. Today's going to be the first part of a two-part review. Both parts will be up at the same time here on YouTube. These two reviews are going to be for NatureVape here in the UK. About 4 weeks ago, Mark from NatureVape sent me over 4 concentrates. He sent me over the rhubarb and custard, the strawberry and custard, the blackjack, and the peach, papaya and mango. Now on NatureVape's website, I think there's now about 6 or 7 flavours. All these concentrates were created in collaboration with Jack Rabbit Vapes. I did my mixing review, which you're going to see in a minute, about 3-4 weeks ago for my holiday, and I intended to do the tasting when I got back from my holiday. However, whilst I was on holiday, Mark from NatureVape also then sent me 4 more short fills. There's 3 there, there's 1 here. These short fills are going to be called the True Juice. Now the True Juice is going to be made using the same concentrates as these ones. So in effect, if you are not a DIY vapor and you have no intention of mixing, you can buy these concentrates already pre-made in a 70-30 mix, 50ml short fill. I think they've only got 4 of the 7 mixed so far in the 50ml short fills. Like I said, I know that there's 7 concentrates. He did send me 4 short fills and the 5th concentrate, which was the Bakewell Tart. Bakewell Tart, I've got it in a short fill anyway, so I could try that as well. So yeah, basically in this review, it's going to be just a tutorial on how to do DIY mixing. When you buy the concentrate, you do get a little DIY calculating card here. It's on my finger. I'm a chef. I had a little accident at work. Yeah, you do get a little card here for your mixing. I will show you that card more up close and up close for the mixing. So if you are already a DIY mixer and you know about PG, VG and nicotine, all you need to know is that these concentrates are recommended to be mixed at 20%. Likewise, if you are not interested in any sort of DIY juices, you just want to be able to buy the juice and vape it, i.e. in a short fill, then there will be a link up here for part 2. In part 2, I'll be trying 5 juices in total. 3 of them will be the short fills. 2 will be the DIY mixes that I'm about to do now. So yeah, if you want to go over to part 2 straight away, that's the link. So if you're still here, why don't we go down to the table? It's going to be about 10 minutes, just a nice quick tutorial. You may find some of this information helpful if you've never done DIY mixing before. I do go a bit more in depth about PG, VG. So yeah, let's go down and do some mixing. Okay, and here we are down at the table. You can see I've got lots of things all in front of me. I'm wearing gloves. When you're doing mixing and using nicotine, I always recommend wearing gloves. I've got 4 concentrates. I've got the blackjack. I've got the focus, peach and papaya and mango. Got rhubarb and custard. And I've got strawberry custard. Now when you get the concentrates from NatureVape, they do send you a little card like this. This is going to be a little mixing card. Don't worry about the focus. I'm going to show you a screenshot of this one later on. You'll also need some propylene glycol or PG, some vegetable glycerin or VG, a nicotine shot. This is going to be the 20mg one. Some little tubs to put your mix in afterwards. Now, I'm going to do a quick screenshot about PG and VG because we always say, oh yeah, it's 70-30 VG, PG. We always assume a lot of people know what that means. So, I will just tell you quickly about PG and VG and the difference in them. So your PG is going to be your propylene glycol. PG gives you more of a throat hit or a kick. It's going to be a lower viscosity. It is very runny, almost like water. But the good thing with PG, it is a flavour carrier. When you mix your e-liquid, it's the PG that enhances the flavour. If you have a higher VG ratio, sometimes you need to add more flavourings because the VG doesn't really carry the flavour that well. It's a PG that produces more flavour. The VG is going to be a vegetable glycerin. Vegetable glycerin has a slightly sweet taste and it is a really viscous liquid, almost like a honey or like a maple syrup. It gives you a kick straight away in the lungs rather than the throat with the PG. And the VG is what is used to produce more clouds or more vapour. A higher ratio liquid with PG that will produce vapour, but it's really thin and wispy. When you vape a higher VG, the vapour is more cloudy and more dense. So yeah, that's PG and VG. So when you're mixing your juices, going by your chart, which I'll show you in a minute, you can dispense your PG, VG, nicotine and flavouring with syringes. Syringes you can get in different sizes, up to 50 mils, even probably bigger than that. I have a few here. I've got a 10 mil syringe. I have a 5 mil syringe. And I have a 1 mil syringe. You can also use a pipette for fine tuning to drop a few drops in. I don't use syringes anymore nowadays, but I'll show you how you use it quickly later on. If you're a more advanced vapor, later on there's a lot of calculators online which show you the weight of the juices, where you can actually weigh it out as you are mixing it. I have one of these, which I do use now and again. I'm not using it in this video obviously, it's a bit more advanced. But yeah, you can use either a weighing scale to do your juices, you can use syringes and pipettes, but I like to use something simple and easy. It's going to be my little beakers. My little beakers have a 1 mil increment on them. If I've got to do a really fine, like 0.5 or 0.6 mil of flavouring, then I will use a 1 mil syringe. But normally I use my little mixing beakers, where I put it there, put my PG, my VG, my flavouring, my nicotine, then I will dispense that into the bottle. If you are going to use a syringe, you will literally just get your bottle of PG or VG, take off the lid, put your syringe inside and decant it that way. It's a bit messy that way, I must say, but for a beginner, it's probably going to be the easiest way to do it. I've been mixing for a long time now, so like I say, I use my little measuring beakers nowadays. It's a lot easier for me. So let's go down and have a quick look at this chart for the mixing calculations. And here we are with the DIY mixing calculation table. You can see at the top it says desired e-liquid, bottle size. All of these are to make 60 mils of e-liquid. And then it says the PG-VG ratio. We have 50-50, 60-40 or 70-30. Next to that will be the nicotine strength. For the 50-50, the calculations here are for either a 6 milligram or 9 milligram. For the 60-40, it's going to be either a 6, a 9 or a 12. And for the 70-30 VG-PG ratio, it's going to be either a 3 or a 6. The flavourings there, it's all going to be 12 mils of e-liquid flavourings. So it's going to be 20% flavouring for the 60 mil short fills. Next to that will be the VG level, the PG level, and then at the end, the nicotine level. These nicotine calculations are based on the bottles being 20 milligram nic shots. So at the very bottom here, I'm going to go for the 60 mils of 70-30, and I'm going to go for the 6 milligram in strength. So I can see that I need 12 mils of flavouring, I need 33 mils of VG, I'm going to need 6 mils of PG, and I'm going to need 9 mils of nicotine, the 20 milligram nic shot nicotine. So yeah, first of all, get my little beaker. I'm going to add my VG first, which is going to be 33 mils according to the chart. Got to go off camera slightly so I can see it myself. Okay, So I have 33 mils of VG. I will then add 6 mils of PG. PG is a bit more awkward because it's very runny, as I showed you. So that's my 6 mils of PG as well. I will then need to add 12 mils of the flavouring. I will just do the strawberry, and I'll just do the strawberry custard first. I always, when I have a concentrate mix, I always shake the bottle slightly, just to make sure it's all incorporated together nicely. So 12 mils of this will take me up to 51 mils in total. I will go off camera slightly, guys. If you go over by a little bit, it's not too bad. Like 1 mil here, 1 mil there. It won't really affect the mix too much. Sorry about the noise. So that's my 12 mils of strawberry and custard flavouring. And then I need to add 9 mils of the nicotine shot. Like I said, this is going to be the 20 milligram strength one. I know to keep going until it's exactly level to 60 mils of juice. And there we go. That's going to be 60 mils all together. Now, I've got to decant this into this. I normally use bigger bottles. These will be very good if you're using your syringes to syringe it out, so you can put the nozzle straight in and squeeze it in. This into this will be a bit awkward. And that's it, all in there, all together. Now, on NatureVape's website, you can buy, like I said, all these flavourings. You can buy the syringes, you can buy PG, VG, and bottles. These are from NatureVape, and it gives you the little bottle caps as well. So just get a little nozzle and a cap. Put the nozzle on. Put the cap on. And give it a good shake. What I like to do with my e-liquids when I first mix them is I will shake them up, put them away in the dark cupboard for a day. The next day I will take the cap off. I will squeeze out any air excess and let new air back inside the bottle a few times. I'll then put the cap back on again. Give it a good shake. And then back in the cupboard. I will do that for 3 days in a row, and then after that just leave it, just give it a shake every now and again. You'll find that fruity vapes you can more or less vape straight away. Things like custards and bakeries, it's best to let them steep. Now steeping means leaving it in the cupboard and not using it. Yeah, about a week to 2 weeks for bakeries and custards. Some custards get better and better the longer you leave them. If you're going to vape any sort of tobacco e-liquids and mix them, I mix a lot of tobaccos, as you may know. I leave my tobaccos up to 4 to 8 weeks steeping. When I make my tobaccos, I make big 500ml batches, and I use my own nicotine, not nic shots, but that's for another review. So yeah, that's how you mix your concentrates from NatureVape. Gonna put a label on this one. Gonna mix it together 4, and then I will see you in the next part.